Ooh, yeah. Hello, Sunshine. Welcome to a deep dive with Anzi. As you can see, I'm holding my original hard rain card that I got in like 2011 when we went on it for the first time. So, yeah, fun times. So, I'm gonna answer a bunch of deep questions that you guys didn't ask for, but you're gonna get them anyway. Who is Anzi really? That's a very loaded question, but I'm just a guy who loves having fun, loves his friend, loves his friends, loves his family. I love enjoying life. I enjoy a beer here and there. I'm kidding. You can't just have one. And yeah, to put it simply, this is probably like one of the first times a broad audience knows this, but my full name that I've given myself and have taken from other people is Anzisani John Matemba Curtis Muhammad Sibuyi the first. Right. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that last one. We're gonna get to it, right? So that's a very good question off rip to answer. What kind of kid were you growing up? I'd say I was a fun-loving kid, very quiet, a huge fan of wrestling with my friends. Like during, like every day during break, would go to the cricket nets, kind of like a simulation of the Royal Rumble there, and just have fun. So yeah, love having fun, love being a goof, and then those sort of things. They're just average, fun-loving but quiet kid. But something people assume about you that is completely wrong. I think people assume I have a lot of money. Like I will have a lot of money, just not right now. I am very much pre-rich, so I must just wait. Also, don't ask me for money because the answer is going to be no. Like I love you, but the answer is going to be no. When did you first realize you wanted more than an average life? So in 2019, if I remember correctly, a few of us, right? I don't know how this idea came about, but we're like, oh, you know what we could do? We could buy an island. I'm like, yeah, yeah, we actually could. So we started looking at islands. There was an island in Fiji that was like only a few couple $1 million. Yeah, I would say only a couple, like compared to everything else you get. But an island in Fiji, and then the idea of like, oh, you know what we could do? We could go study in New Zealand, and I knew right then that a seed had been planted because like there's no way I'm going to live what most people do, right? I don't think I'd ever be in a corporate environment and thrive. I don't like it. I like being either hands on or very much doing something outside, being creative. I like this. Like I said, I'm just going to be posting a bunch of video ideas of what if it sucks, it sucks. If if it blows up, it blows up. So, was there a specific moment that changed how you looked at life? I raise you on better too. So, November of 2021, I lost my uncle. He was like 31, and the details of how that happened, I'm not going to get into, but it made me realize, and like life is short. Life is extremely short. So you have to live your best life now, and don't really worry about what other people are saying. And the second part um, is the so like over a month ago, because today is the 11th. I was supposed to film this video yesterday, but today is the 11th. But a month ago I turned 22, and it's like when I was doing research, the age, average age mortality, average age someone, what's the term? The oldest a man lives in South Africa, like the average of that is like around 66 years old. So I don't want to be a loser or live a boring life by the time I'm 66, maybe on my deathbed or maybe even later than that. Something. So just life is short, right? You can think about how you have all this time left over. Most of it is spent being on your phone and those sort of things. I don't know. I'm not the most profound person in my life, but you know, it's I try. What are you chasing and why? Hmm. I'm chasing this idea of being the best version of myself, right? So that being 250K per month at the agency, where about 80% of that is pure profit. That would be nice. I want to be, well, I want to be heavier than I am right now. I've been coasting around 60, around the 60s. I want to travel to the upper 70s, small 80s, I guess. So between 78 and 85 kilos. That being, I work out, I eat enough protein to be in a caloric surplus, but not enough to where it's like a regular bulk where there's a lot of fat building up and stuff. So yeah. And then my faith, I want to be someone who's unashamed of being in my faith, who goes to church every single Sunday, regardless of how I feel, those sort of things. I'm trying to think. Personal brand, right? I want to get to at least like 100,000 on YouTube and on Instagram, because I think that would be cool and that would be a nice thing to have. Just have an audience of people that believe in me, that have watched this from zero all the way to the end, achieving my goals way past that. And then obviously, I'd say the biggest one is like in the next 3 to 6 months, I want to move out. That means building credit, making enough money to buy a car, to put down a deposit, and so those sort of things. Just like normal adulting. I'm just trying to think. And I say being a lot more spontaneous as well is the big thing. So spontaneity in being able to, obviously, when I get a car, is saying, "Cool, I'm bored for the weekend. Let me book an Airbnb. Go drive out to Mpumalanga or someplace that's like very much bushveld, and stay there for the weekend and just really take in the views, take in the life, take in the peace and serenity that you get out there, which is kind of the reason why when I've been looking at places to move into, like rent and stuff, I've been looking for something similar to that. That is most the closest thing I've seen to that is like like agricultural holdings, so a lot of equestrian estates and those sort of that sort of setting. That's my ideal place to move into, I'd say. If someone met you 5 years from now, what would they notice first? Hmm, that I'm not as insecure as I once was. I'm pretty confident. Obviously, this is 5 years down the line. So, confident. I don't want to say aura, because that's going to make you sound cringe. I don't give a shit about aura. But just confident, happy, being able to light up a room. Because I won't lie, every single time I've gone out, right? If I'm with people, or even if I'm like with like one other person, I'll be like, cool, let me make sure my friend is okay. And then I'll go meet new people. Like, oh yeah, how you doing? Have a good night. That's all. That's always been the MO, the modus operandi. I don't know why. I guess it's because I'm like a people person. And it's crazy because I'm not really an introvert. I love being at home. But every time I'm out, I think it's because I'm an ambivert, right? If I'm at home, I love being at home. But if I'm out, I'm going to enjoy that experience of being out, right? So I'd say just a lot more confident, proud, healthier, obviously. Smaller dress, smell good. So just all these things that are a much better version of myself right now. So that's the big thing. What do you? Where are you in life right now? Oh, yeah. Obviously, I'm still living at home. I didn't expect to be living at home for this long. To be fair, this is. Do I have my regrets? Yes and no, but also not really. The only thing I regret is acting a lot sooner. And that's like the only regret. Just like acting a lot sooner and faster when it came to like prospects or people that wanted to work with me. That's the main thing. But outside of that, I don't have any regrets as to this path that I've chosen and the sort. But I'd say I'm okay with where I am in life, but not comfortable enough to stay where I am. To put it simply, what does your average day actually look like? So average day. I don't know. I don't have a schedule at the moment. I'm trying to set that up, but uh, obviously this is the office. My sister's old room. I sleep in my room. Wake up every morning, come here, drink some water for about an hour and a half while I'm like scraping leads or people to reach out to, get a coffee, work some more, watch some YouTube then here and there, make another coffee, eat some food, work out, and shower. So, put it simply, it's just not a very structured day that I just walk in here, work for a bit, have water, have coffee, go downstairs, make breakfast, come back up, eat it here, same with lunch, same with dinner, shower, and then around 9, 10 o'clock, I'll go to bed. So that's what an average day looks like for me. What keeps you up at night? Ooh, recently, it's been it's been weird, but I've had this person. I don't want to say this person, but recently I've seen this person popping up on social media. Right now, there's someone I had feelings for right now. I don't know where my feelings are. It's very much an unresolved case right now. The best way I can say it is that I got traded to this new club, and before I could step on the field to play, I got an injury that took me out for like 2 years. So that's the best way I can put it. So that's been keeping me up at night, but also just not being where I want to be, where I said I'd be, and those sort of things. That's the biggest thing you're struggling with right now: mental health. But mental health and consistency. Those are the two biggest things I'm struggling with right now. But I'll get over it. I'm not gonna be one of those guys that are like, oh no, I'm not gonna talk to anyone, or if it gets worse, then I will speak to someone. But it's not to the point where I'm feeling like I shouldn't be around anymore. That was me when I was in 2022. It's been like almost 4 years since then, so I haven't really thought about it since then. What's one thing you're proud of that nobody sees? Hmm. Because I've got two answers. I'd say because one of them is about myself, one of them isn't. So I'll start with the one that isn't about myself. So I'd say my best friend, right, Grant Stockberg. He's chasing this dream of becoming a golf pro, and I'm insanely proud of him. I'm I don't want to say I'm his biggest supporter, but I'll support him to the ends of the earth because that's my boy. And it's weird because I didn't used to like him. Like when I first met this guy, I'm like, oh, weird, because he plays golf. And he was captain of golf since 2018, when we were in grade 9 all the way to Utrecht. So, yeah, but he really motivates me to be better. So, I don't think a lot of people have their eyes on him, and I believe people should because he's going to change the game. And that's my opinion. And when it comes to myself, I'd say something I've realized recently is I've been keeping my word on things I've said, right? Even if it took years. So the biggest examples have been, well, I said I'm going to start working out again. Obviously, not only those sort of things, but regardless of who you are in my life or where you are, okay, wait. So when it comes to keeping my word, I've kept it for most of my life. So I said I was going to take a girl to a Springbok game. She blocked me before then, and I went to the Springbok game with my boys. So that was fun. Um, and just getting my driver's license. That's something I set out to do at the beginning of the year. I've got that. And now just moving to a place that's got a lot of greenery, bushveld vibes, and moving there. And then when I am there, I'm gonna write a shit ton of poetry because that's what I said I was gonna do. Instead, I'm gonna be on the farm and write poetry. So, and I've told that to every single woman I've had a thing with. So What are you avoiding? Hmm, failing. I'm avoiding failure. And the way you avoid failure is by not trying anything. So, because if you don't try, you don't fail. But also, if you don't fail, you don't succeed. That's the best way to look at it. What's the hardest lesson you've learned this year? I wouldn't say there's a hard lesson I've learned this year, but people don't care about you. Like people love you and stuff, but they don't care about what you do. As long as you're happy doing your own thing, and even if they whether they like you or not is irrelevant. You just gotta do your thing and not expect other people to be watching. And if they are, great. If they aren't, even better, because you're not doing your performance for them or you're doing your thing for them. You're doing it for you. That's been the hardest lesson. What's something you failed at multiple times? Businesses. So before Vintage Vision, there was what is it? There were three businesses, all of them clothing brands, evidently. Three or four actually. And there's still a ton of businesses that are no, it's for podcast business. So some of them I could still retry and revive if I really wanted to, because it's not the end of the world if I don't. But yeah, clothing brands have been the biggest one because, like I said, I knew I needed to do something, need to make money somehow. And clothing brands, ooh, there was also drop shipping in there. Jeez. So yeah, it's been fun. It has been very fun building a business. Speaking of business, why did you start Vintage Vision Media? Because I wanted to make money and have fun with my friends. Yes. Uh, we decided to start the business in a bar. What was it? I'll actually, I didn't actually tell you because I created the group chat the day. So the 17th of January 2023, we went to Jolly's and decided we're going to do this thing. The next day I created the group and the rest is history. Why did I choose law firms? Law firms are very lucrative, and I don't think they know how lucrative they are. My system is basically I automate their intake to book them appointments 24/7, 365 with an AI receptionist. That's the best way I could put it. And law firms miss out on that because most of the time, being in South Africa, there's always something going on. Load shedding, they could be in court. Um, Receptionists don't work 24/7. Those sort of things. What has been your biggest mistake in business? Not being quick enough. If someone says they want to give you money, do it as quickly as possible. Like, be quick on everything. Be quick on every single thing that you do, especially in business. What's the closest you've come to quitting? Last, is it last year? No, the year before. Actually, no, but between that, like 2024, 2025, well, I was very close. I did not want to be here. I was contemplating, like, yeah, no. Like, I worked hard, got some clients, turned those clients. But and it was like just before we got those clients, that's when I was looking to give up, I'd say. What does success for you actually look like? Multiple clients, revenue is up, service delivery is up, and being able to do wherever I want, wherever I want, 24/7, 365, and not have the business rely on me every single day. That would be success for me. What would happen if this agency failed? Well, the agency wouldn't fail because a business only fails if you stop working on it. If you don't stop working on it, it will never fail. But if it did fail, it would give me a ton of experience of running a business. You know, it's not like I've been doing nothing, doing jack shit for the past 3 years. I've learned some valuable skills: lead generation, um, client acquisition, so those sort of things, content creation. So there's a ton of skills I've gained from being co-owner, co-founder at Vintage Vision Media. What's one belief you have about business that most people disagree with? That sometimes you should do more. And and the way I could tell you this is if you have a How do I say this? If you have a system, right, or you have, how do I put this so it makes sense for both you and I? I'm going to put this in an example in my head first. So let me take this for example. For myself and the agency, if I were to sign one client, that's about between 10 to 15,000 rand per month, and most of that money is going into service delivery, right? I'm not going to charge much more than that because most of most of that retainer goes to the actual service delivery of the client, right? I don't believe in charging way more and more and more until you've earned the right to. Right? Like right now, I'm at a point where I don't feel the need to. And I'd be happy to make just a bit over it. But to be fair, it's only one client that needs to pay for everything and you sort it, and everything past that is pure profit. That's the best way I can describe it for me. But if you can do more, do more. Yeah, that's so. What does your dream company look like? I don't really believe in having an office, but if I would, it would be like a warehouse. Not a warehouse, but like there's a place nearby. Yeah, there's like an office park, and there's like a, how do I describe it? You know, it's got that thing. I don't want to say shutters, but like it's got the roller doors. So that kind of environment where I could film content in there, kind of like a studio basically. That would be being able to do everything there. Have a physical location that's not here. That's not my house. So I'd say that's the biggest thing. That would be my dream company. Why are you so obsessed with discipline? Well, because if you don't have discipline, you don't have anything, right? If you're not disciplined, you won't get the goal you want. To put it simply, I was not disciplined, so I lost the girls. Well, I lost the girl 3 separate times. I was not disciplined enough to do what I said I was going to do and be the man I said I was going to be. And discipline is one of the ways I can do so. Why do you think motivation matters? It doesn't. Discipline does. Motivation fades. Discipline is the thing that tells you, like, hey, dog, you gotta run. When you don't feel like running and it's cold outside and it's raining, you gotta run. Regardless of how you feel, discipline matters more than motivation because motivation fades. What's the biggest lie you've told yourself? That it's hard. That anything you can do is hard. It's going to be challenging, yes. Maybe because you're unfamiliar with it, not maybe, because you're unfamiliar. So, because you're unfamiliar with most of the things that you want to do in life, it looks hard, but it's just, you just never tried it. So, yeah, I don't think it's hard. What's one habit you're trying to build? Working out. And well, it's not really, it's a habit with a whole bunch of sub habits and sub habits and sub habits of myself. But just being me, being the man I'm destined to be, that's the biggest habit I'm trying to build. One thing I'm trying to do is, again, is write poetry, read poetry, write literature. So just being able to write some stuff, you know, that's been the biggest thing that I'm trying to build. What's one habit you're trying to kill forever? Procrastination. Because it's a bitch. What's something you're still insecure about? My height. Because I can't change it. But soon enough, I'll get over it. Or I'll get over it. What kind of man are you trying to become? One that is very confident, very well spoken, well read, well rounded, someone that people enjoy being around. I can light up a room every single time I walk in it and also still be fine being alone and living my dream life, obviously. That's, yeah, faith. How important is your faith? Very important. I think most people need to believe in something. Doesn't matter what that thing is, but believe in something that is greater than yourself. And just so you can ask that deity, like, yo, give wisdom, dog. Because that's the most important thing. You need wisdom more than anything in life. You're wise enough to know what to do, when to do it, what not to do. It's like, yes, what's this? There's a quote. It's like, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. So that's what it is. What is your relationship with? How has your relationship with God changed over time? It's been up and down. How will I? been bad. There've been some very, very bad days when I was sinning deep in the sin trench. But now I'm working my way out of it. I mean, no one truly makes it out unless they were born sinless, which only one man ever was. So, what's something you've prayed for that you're still waiting on? Hmm, very good question. I'd say I wouldn't say there's anything. Like most of the stuff is just being a lot more wise, knowing what to say, when to say, how to say it, being able to not fear anything. So I'd say the biggest thing that I haven't gotten yet is just a life that I'm building and could be delivered in 6 months. So that's pretty much it. How does faith affect your decisions in business? Like I said, pray for wisdom, whether to know if it's the right person to do business with or not. Yeah, that would be the most important thing. Kind of a short and sweet answer. Relationships. Oh boy. What kind of people do you want around you? People that are winners, people that are going to tell me my shit even when I don't want to hear it and help me out. And we keep going. The closest thing I've had since high school was obviously, well, no, closest thing I had was like probably a rugby in the rugby team. Uh, if you miss a tackle, your boy's like, ah, no, it's fine. You make the next one. You make the next one. So that kind of camaraderie, that was cool. So something like that, something similar. Why have you stepped away from certain friendships? Some of them stepped away from me. Am I a good person? No. But also, I'm not going to be left. I'm not going to neglect you. You will neglect me. I don't like being neglected. So that's why I've stepped away from certain friendships. Like, I won't lie, I've got some terrible friends. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Like, they're amazing people, but no, well, they're amazing friends. People, not so much. So I'd say I have better friendships with those sort of people than people who are objectively better than everything else, simply because they're bitches and they're dickheads. So I don't like people that are bitches and dickheads and try to be friends with me. The best way I can put it is if you can be a good enough person to call me out on my shit, that's that's good enough for me. If you aren't that, then bye. What qualities do you want in a future relationship? God fearing is a big one. And them to be well read. Politically, I don't really care. Personally, I'm not really a political person. Politics are something that have consumed my life for a long time, um, even in school. So I'm not really a political person. But yes, God fearing, well read, smart, funny, caring, salt of the earth kind of person. What do you think love should actually look like? Hmm, this is a deep question because, like, up until recently, I didn't know if I knew what love was, like, in the romantic sense. Like every other sense, I know what that looks like as love between friends, love between family, love between a random person. That that's easy, but love in the romantic sense, that's something that I've been trying to get an answer for, and I still haven't. But I guess just even on the bad days, is choosing each other, even when you don't feel like choosing each other. And I guess that's the best thing because love is a choice. And in the future, where do you see yourself by the end of this year? Out of this house, um, in a car, ah, and probably doing a side quest that doesn't make sense to you, but makes sense to me simply because I can. That's what I. That's what I like to be doing. What's your biggest goal over the next 5 years? Ooh, buy a house, buy a farm, buy a whole bunch of cars, get into a relationship that's going to be, I guess, my one, the one for me. That's the best way I can put it. And start looking to settle down, but also not settling down in other aspects of my life. So keep killing it with the business, keep killing it with my faith, my fitness personal brand, and so on and so forth. So doing everything a lot better than I am now, but also a lot more efficiently. So, what scares you about achieving your dreams? That it won't feel, oh, use English. That it won't feel this void inside me that tells me I'm inadequate. That's basic. But inadequacy or mediocrity, that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter because I've been there, I've lived it. Been a mediocre and average athlete in rowing, rugby, hockey, everything I've done, I've been average. So it doesn't hurt me as much as it would. But just doing all this stuff, feeling that it wasn't enough, that I'm still the same person, that I haven't changed. That's what would scare me. If money wasn't a factor, what would you spend your time doing? Living on a game farm. No, living on a farm. Living on a farm and I guess also being able to travel around the country, travel around the world. I say country first because I don't think people will realize the country that we live in. Like, it's so beautiful. We've got so many amazing things. We've got a lot of, I don't want to say water parks, but like, yeah, there's a word for it. It's like a safari, but in the, but with water. You know what I'm saying? But like a whole bunch of nature reserves. And South Africa is probably one of the most diverse and beautiful countries in the world. So that's the thing. What legacy do you want to leave? Be kind, do your best. So those are the only things you should care about. Be kind and do your best in everything that you do. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. Oh, and do everything you do with love. Now, what's one promise you're making to yourself today? So I'm gonna stop being a bitch. That's. I'm gonna stop being a bitch. That's simple as that. Like even if it's hard, do the hard thing. If it sucks, then it sucks. So that's pretty much it for me. And I'll see you in. Oh, got about 50 videos I've got to plan for the next 6 months. So yeah, but no complaints. Let's make it happen. And I'll see you in next week's video. Cheers.